Yeah. Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Richie Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today, we got, yet again, another discussion video. This one, I'm actually really excited about. We are going to be talking about the community. Oh, yeah. So, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be a fun ride. Now, if you're here for drama, or if you're here for the daily dose of tea, don't worry. I'm not even going to be mentioning any names or anything like that. I'm just going to discuss everything as usual, and then you guys in the comments can figure out the rest for yourself. But yeah, let's jump right into it, and which is first starting off with the extra credit program. This video is going to be split into like two sections, talking about the extra credit programs and then kind of talking about the community behaviors of, you know, people and stuff like that. So again, sit back, relax, and it's going to be a fun ride. So going over from over here, we got to talk about the extra credit program, which a lot of people don't really even know much about extra credits because it doesn't really make as much noise. And of course, it's for a content creator. It's a content creator program for wizards and pirates. It literally says it up here. So, you know, most people might not be, you know, obliged to remember it and all that fun stuff. But they give you an objective, a monthly objective, and then you do it during the time. You use a little hashtag Wizard101 extra credits, and then you get all these prizes and goodies, which my time being in the extra credit program, the rewards were just kind of like meh, like, you know, it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, you either like it or you kind of does, you know? I think, and still to this day, I think the best reward that they have given from this entire extra credit program was probably the 12 months of membership if you were staying consistent with the extra credit program. And that was kind of like an add-on new thing that they did. I don't know if they're still going to continue that, but hopefully they do, because again, a 12-month membership goes a long way, especially if you're being consistent with the objectives and stuff like that. But, you know, they give you some other rewards. Used to be crowns, but there was a whole fiasco with that, and we'll get into that later on. But going down from over here, it talks about kind of the main, I guess, FAQ and slash the participation stuff of it. This one, first one, which is a no-brainer: be family friendly, helpful, and quote-unquote respectful to all community members, or whatever that means. Have no significant infractions on any of your game accounts, whatever that means. Are in good standing with the community at large, quote-unquote, whatever that means. Have produced meaningful, regular game content over the past 3 months. And this is basically the big one that we are basically going to be focusing on a lot, because, you know, produce meaningful regular game content over the past 3 months could be a subjective, you know, to a lot of people, right? Especially if you are inactive, and then that's when they kind of get the little pushy, you know, they get the booty boot, you know, they get the boot out, and then, you know, you get kicked out of the program. Have produced program-specific content for at least 50% of the yearly objective. Does anybody notice how this feels like? It almost feels like an internship, except you're not getting paid. Does anybody else feel that way? Have at least one social channel or site where you are publishing content and you have fun, which again, fun is subjective, and share your love of the game through the content you create. Again, a very subjective piece. I don't know what that means, but there you go. And basically, one of my homies got booted out, and apparently this happened, I think, about a few months ago, like 8 months ago. I'm not sure the time frame of any of this, but apparently they got booted out, not because they were, you know, making criticism videos, which we all do, and which we're doing right now. We provide, at least try to provide, level-headed thoughts and, you know, constructive criticism about the game. And heck, that's why we did the whole geometric share table back in February, and then I left because the community was kind of getting on my nerves, and that's where we get into the part 2 of the video. But going back on topic, they were removed from the extra credit program, not just because of that, but because apparently they were inactive, and which doesn't make sense because they were active, and now everybody's kind of asking questions. Apparently someone else was also inactive for a time, and they just decided to boot them out, which again doesn't make as much sense. And I honestly, it's not fair to me if you're like, I don't know, it's just a weird concept because like I can understand maybe if you're away for like a year or 2 years, then yeah, I understand. But like, I don't know, I feel like for 3 months, I feel like everybody takes like a month break. Hey, even I kind of took like at least a very short break. It didn't feel like a month, but it was a very short break. But like even then, I still left the program on my own terms just because, again, the whole geometric table fiasco in February, that really was kind of like brain rot for me, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave because this is like annoying. This is super annoying. And of course, I want to share my thoughts with you guys because, you know, going back to the topic of extra credits and going to the participation thing, have fun, quote unquote, and share your love of the game through the content you create. Again, that's subjective because when I make these types of discussion videos, people will think of it as an attack and people will think I'm not having fun with the game. And you are right, I'm not having fun in the game. But when I make videos like this, I am still sharing my love for the game. The fact that I still came back and I said I was quitting, it shows my love for the game. It shows the dedication I have, the little ounce, the little tiny ounce of loyalty I have for this game. And that's more reasons why I make these videos, because I want the best for the game, and everybody else wants the best for this game, right? Don't get it twisted, whizheads, okay? But, again, that's a very subjective manner, because you don't know who's having fun in the game, and you don't know what kind of content is being produced that could be as labeled as fun and very lovingful. You know, lovingful, that's not even a word. Very loving content. It's all subjective, right? Constructive criticism could be labeled as negative, right? I'll share a little bit of history about the extra credit program. And I talked about 2 people were kicked for inactivity. Yeah, another one is that someone left. Apparently they left because of toxicity. And this one is very vague, and it didn't really make a lot of sense because at the same time this person was also being negative, right? Or toxic. This person was also being toxic for having, you know, just being called out and stuff like that, which is ironic, you know. But you know, they did leave the extra credit program because of toxicity. Again, that's toxicity is subjective, and they didn't really label who exactly the toxic people are. But nobody really, like, nobody knows, like, dude, like, toxicity is subjective. You think, bro, I get bad comments all the time. I can label that as toxicity, but, like, again, I don't know. It's, like, subjective in a sense. Like, I don't know, right? And then another person was banned and they left because of a crown code spam. Apparently, there was a crown code back in the day that could be redeemed, like, an unlimited amount of times, and I guess the person like was selling items and something like that, and that was a whole fiasco. And more reasons why the extra credit programs, or why KI in general, excuse me, probably more reasons why they don't give out as much crown codes as they used to, because again, that was just a really silly mistake. To put a dangerous crown code out there is just so silly to me. I don't know. It's just like, you know, there's been a lot of history with extra credits, but in my opinion, I don't think it's fair to really, like, remove people, especially for certain standards, I feel like. Because there are people in the program that literally don't do anything. They just sit there. They don't do anything, you know? And kind of look at other people's upload history. Not to put me on a pedestal or anything, but I practically upload Wiz videos as much as I can, right? This is pretty much a yap fest, you know? Yap, but you know, I still try to produce as much content as I want. And even then, I still left the program because it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like there's such a weird bias going around on it. And of course, we're not naming anyone. We're not pointing fingers. But I feel like they definitely have to come back to some of the people they did remove, and or at least check back with the participation part. Because the one where you have to stay consistent, that one is, again, a really hard one to do. That is really hard to do, especially if you get a job or, you know, God forbid you have a family emergency or something like that, and you just don't want to play Wiz at all. It's a very high commitment kind of thing. So they definitely do have to just review all of that. They definitely do have to review all of that. But I don't know. Hopefully they do review it and just, like, check it out, because again, there were a lot of content creators. There were a lot of content creators, right, that I talked to. They should already be in the program because they produce some awesome content, right? And they do it all in these waves and all these sets of waves, and then people just either leave or they get removed. It's just so weird. Apparently, another person had left the program or been removed from the program. I don't know how true that is because of a past history. And, you know, I don't really keep up with people and stuff like that. I don't really keep up with people, right? But it's just like, I don't know. It's just, it's a fun program in retrospect, but like, when you get into it, it's like, okay, well, now it's just kind of like very high commitment. I don't like the rewards, and apparently a toxicity. And again, whatever toxicity means, I don't know exactly what that means, but yeah, it's a big issue. And hopefully it does get resolved. And of course, they are kind of making a big hindrance of it, or not a hindrance, but they're making a big show of it because, again, as I've said, multiple times, they are a very reactive company, right? They only react when stuff hits the fan, right? And we're seeing that right now with, you know, my content creator buddy that got removed. You know, they made a video talking about it, and you know, now it sucks because it's like, okay, well, what's the standard of being active? You know, like, what's the standard, you know? Nobody knows now, but I don't know. It's just not fair to me, in my opinion. It's not fair to me! And we've seen this before where, you know, Wizard101 is very reactive. There are a lot of things that make him reactive. I pulled this up from the trenches, and I don't know if you guys remember, but we made a video talking about this. This was when Wizard101 was literally about to remove the furniture sets from the crown shop, which are a good staple, of course, to, you know, Wizard101 decorating. Even myself, I have bought these items with gold. It was a nice little accessibility, or just accessible for all wizards, all levels and stuff like that, and to really decorate your castle and stuff like that. And just for no reason, they just wanted to remove it. And it never really made a lot of sense. And still, it still boggles my mind, like, why would they even do that when the furniture sets have their own little tab? If you go to housing, you literally go to furniture sets, it has its own little tab. And it's not a big tab either. It's not a really big tab. It's literally in its own, like, bubble. It's in its own bubble. So it never really made sense to really anybody as to why this was getting removed. And of course, the backlash hit, and all the housing creators came together. And I love the housing community. The housing community is my favorite because they don't do raids, or they don't really do PvP. They don't do like PvE. They don't do annoying, obnoxious dungeons. They just sit there, decorate these awesome castles and houses, and it is amazing. I still gotta do a castle tour video. But again, nobody knew what happened, and ever since then, they just said that we are going to temporarily leave the furniture sets and the items in the crown shop for the time being, and they will remain until we are able to fully implement our plans to transfer them to different vendors. We will keep you posted as to when this transfer will occur. And then ever since August 9th, 2023, they just stepped back. Like, they don't even touch it no more, right? And that was kind of like the first time I really seen, like, the community, like, you know, signified, you know, like unified, right? And that was the first time I saw that. I was like, oh, you know, this is really nice. Everybody kind of like stepped up and you know, pushed back, and now they're stepping back, which is good. I'm really glad that happened because that really didn't make any sense, right? I feel like they had plans to put furniture sets in like crown packs, and hopefully not. Hopefully that wasn't like what they were going to do, but again, I'm just glad that the community came together and did that, right? And we don't really see that as much with the community coming together now. It's like, it's a very split divide. And I think that's kind of more reason why I left in February during the geometric table, because the community was very divisive about what happened. You know, we did the, you know, whatever you want to call it, oval or a triangle tables. Like I said, geometric table. We did that in February. You know, we talked about everything. Of course, it was unorganized. Blah, 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 blah. I was like 4 margaritas in because I went to margaritas with my family. You know, because I don't stay on this game 24/7. Believe it or not, guys, I am not on this game 24/7. I know it looks like it because I have a bunch of badges and I have the gauntlets and I look cool. I got all these pets and all this stuff. Like, I know it looks like it, but believe it or not, I do have a life outside of Wizard101. And let me just tell you that geometric table was really good. I'm glad I got my thoughts across, right? And then, apparently, that was a little bit too harsh. And again, we go on to that thing about what classifies as toxicity or bashing and stuff like that. We go back to that point because, again, it's a very subjective manner. You can provide awesome constructive criticism. And I know some of you guys provide so many great essays and reads. I always love reading your comments. But to someone out there, that's going to be considered as toxicity, or you're bashing them, or you just don't know what you're talking about. And that's the thing. Why only this game? Why only Wizard101? Right? I don't know if it's just because, like, I play other, like, better video games, obviously, like, you know, Helldivers 2. You know, I love that community, but it's like, why is it so split? Doesn't everybody want the best for this game? And yeah, the devs have probably heard it a million times, right? They probably heard my videos a million times. Like, yeah, we get it. We get it. Okay. I'm just making sure you get it. And I'm making sure everybody else gets it. And again, I go back to that time where it's like, I share my love through the game, through these discussions. If you don't care for it, then that's fine. You can just scroll away, unsubscribe, do whatever you want. And that kind of segues to the comment I wanted to talk about the community because, and again, I think this community is very split. It's a very split divide. You got the people that will blindly, loyally follow this game. All right? It doesn't matter what update it is. It doesn't matter. The whole server could be shut down for like 50 hours, but people will still love this game. They won't even ask for compensation. They won't ask for anything in return. They love this game to heart. It's literally in their bloodline. They absolutely love this game, right? And that's kind of like what I think of like whiz heads or just like this blind loyalty thing, because I feel like if you're not providing anything that you don't like, you know, you're not really offering any suggestions, then it's like, you know, the game is never gonna get better. You know, you gotta at least provide like something. Like, isn't there something you just don't like? And then there's like the neutral territory where, you know, it's people like me. I don't like this game, but at the same time I do, and at the same time I want the best for this game, right? I don't like everything that happened. Heck, even the spring update. The spring update, we talked about the spellments, and you know, the spellments are kind of in a weird spot right now because just the way to farm them is just really a struggle. And I mentioned in that video, one of the ways was to get the pet retriever powers, and in order to get the retriever tokens, you have to do the dungeons, and which I believe is like the Grand Croc Gauntlet or something like that, like whatever it was. But you have to farm it, and it's like that takes a long time because the drop rates are super low, and it's just like appreciating time, man. We go back to that topic of appreciating time, right? And it's all right to be neutral. It's okay to, you know, not like this game, but at the same time, you still like this game, and you still provide that constructive criticism. And that goes back to the whole extra credit situation. And I feel like people shouldn't be removed based on those videos. Even if it is the main focal point of the channel, I still don't think it's really fair to remove people just for that. I feel like they still appreciate the game. If anything, I think that they actually like the game more rather than the blind loyalty people, right? That just like every single update and don't provide anything, right? And then the third, which is insane, is probably the obsessed hate train people. And these people are the most annoying, both for the neutral section and the blind loyalty section of people. Okay, these people hate, they literally prey on the downfall of this game, and I literally can't stand them. And I'm not gonna show the accounts because we ain't no bullies out here, but dude, every single post, every single crown shop, every single update, you will see these gremlins in the bottom of the barrel of the comments talking about the same vocabulary. It's KI is greedy, KI shucks. Well, this game is clown ISIL. Or do people still use clown ISIL? I think that was like around when I was in like middle school. Oh my goodness, it's like, it's weird, man. They don't want this game to get any better. And the thing is, they don't provide any constructive criticism at all. So now the neutral side doesn't really, they can't even compete with them because they don't even provide any constructive criticism. They just do the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing. And it's so annoying because it's like, bro, what is this weird obsession you have for this game? Now, I'm going to give y'all a quiz, right? I'm going to give y'all a quiz. A little question for all of you guys. I want you guys to decide which part of the community loves this game the most. Is it A, the neutral side? Is it B, the blind loyalty side? Or is it B, or not B, C, I already said B, but is it C, the obsessive haters, right? The obsessive bot account haters, right? I'll let you decide. Give you guys 5 seconds, right? Give you time to think about that. Neutral, blind loyalty, or the obsessive hate train, right? Think about it. Now, if you chose B, you are actually wrong. If you chose A, you are also wrong. If you chose C, which are the obsessed people that absolutely despise this game, then you are correct. Because these people, it doesn't matter how long this game has been out, and it doesn't matter how much of them like get blocked or, you know, just reported. It doesn't matter, right? These guys will always obsess over hating this game, and they are Wizard101's biggest supporters. And that is my problem with the community, and mainly with the obsessive hate train community. Because again, you can hate the game as much as you want. Everybody has a reason, but at the same time, it kind of like dulls the conversation and viewpoint down to like, okay, like you're not really providing anything like valuable to this conversation, you know? Like, you're not providing anything that they could use as helpful constructive criticism. You're just blindly hating this game, right? It's like a mixture of the both. And it's just like, it's so weird. It's just so weird. And sometimes it can get a little bit too extreme where people are leaking the devs' houses, or they're getting doxxed or something like that, or they're even getting death threats. That's when it gets really weird. And I'm like, you guys okay? And they can even lash out to other content creators, where other content creators get harassed and doxxed, and it can get really extreme. And that's more reasons why the Wizard101 community just isn't fun. It's really not fun. And I'm sure it happens in other gaming communities. I'm not going to single out Wizard101, but from my perspective, playing Wizard101 for this long and being in the community for a little bit, it is not fun. Unless you have a really good, clean, nice, friendly inner circle. But I feel like for Wizard101, it's just really hard to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to find your own community in this game, right? I think I mentioned that a lot. Like, you kind of have to have, like, find your own fun in the game, right? And my fun version of the game is doing the Dragon Spire raid. As much as I don't like raiding, my raid and guild still loves doing the Dragon Spire raid. We don't like doing the Azteca raid for the most obvious reasons, and we most certainly won't be doing the new upcoming raid that they have planned either, just because we don't vibe well with that. And it's really nice having this guild. It's making me kind of realize that I found my own group of people, right? Even if we have like all the nullity gear, we still love doing the Dragon Spire raid because it's a nice, easy, accessible raid, just for a few levels. I bet like 150. Well, even low levels can do it because you can just like run on drums and do that all day. But I don't know, it's just a very fun content. And that was also the first raid that we did with the content creators. And that's how I kind of made all these friends. That's how I got interested in the community. We got like 12 content creators from all over the globe, from Australia to even Canada, and it was just so much fun bringing everybody together. And that was kind of the main thing that I wanted to do when I first did that content creator raid, was bring everybody together and talk to all these amazing people, in which there are so many awesome content creators out there, man. They are just so awesome. Even for those I don't like, I still don't wish for them to get doxxed or death threats or stuff like that, because that level of harassment is so stupid, right? And again, we talk about that obsessive hate train in the community because these people are kind of extremists, right? It's just weird. They don't provide any value to the game or the community itself. So, going back to the extra credits, hopefully Wizard101 can check that out, and hopefully they can figure it out, right? I'll see you guys in the next discussion, whenever that is. We got a raid planned for the 20th. Hopefully everybody can make it. Should be fun. I might live stream it. No confirmation on that because I'm usually a busy guy. I'm always running around taking care of the kids, changing diapers and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It should be a fun raid. And yeah, until then, I will see you guys later. Feel free to drop your comments. If you want to drop an essay, go for it. I'll read it. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.